zone 2 to start the day, and 20 minutes fasted, nothing crazy, but it's something that I'm feeling as though I need to do a bit more activity to try and improve my metabolic health, and not only that, for me, try and get better diabetic control. But I'm not going to go into the science just yet or anything like that. I'm going to go and grab a coffee, have a quick shower, and then I'll go through it with you. So the goal with metabolic health, diabetic health, is to improve the usage of energy within your body. So I've obviously been consistent with strength training. Building up muscle mass allows greater utilization of energy through sugar, allows you to have a reduction in fat within the muscle, which is a big predisposing factor towards insulin resistance. But my issue, probably along with many others, is once you are working a job and then you dedicate maybe 45 minutes of an evening to train, you obviously can't maximize everything. So I can't maximize muscle building with aerobic capacity. And that's the reason why I've started to do, want to do 20 minutes, give or take, like this morning, just doing a bit of zone 2 and seeing how that looks going forward, and does that actually lead to a more beneficial outcome. If I do 20 minutes 5 days a week, it's 100 minutes. It is above the 60-minute threshold, or I would say minimum effective dose for aerobic activity, but it's not at the 150. But given that I've got other classes this week, which I'll go through my training week actually and just show you how different it is in comparison to how I used to be, and let's see if it does improve my metabolic health going forward, because we always focus on the physical aspects, but there are so many different things like mental well-being, psychological impact. So Monday was just a strength day. I'm trying to think, it was legs. Obviously Tuesday was a push day. Wednesday is going to be an endurance day, which is aerobic activity. Thursday, I don't think I've got anything planned. It's usually been a high intensity training class, 50 minutes, hit all out, weights, running. So I might do that again. Friday is a bit different for me this week. I think there's a hot yoga for an hour, followed by a sound bath. Saturday will be some form of strength training, and then Sunday again, some form of strength training. And that's the difference. Years ago, it would be consistently strength training and trying to build as much muscle mass as possible. But my HbA1c was the highest it was ever, or has ever been, when I was probably my leanest. But the answer is, it's very hard to get the right balance. I don't think anyone's ever come up with the right answer, and that's why I'm trying to navigate it this way and see if it does lead to any improvements. I'm going to go and do a workout, which is going to be the push day. I'm trying to lift a bit more because obviously I've started a gym again, which is obviously good in the sense that I've got all these weights and machines that I can utilize instead of just using a barbell and body weight. Even though they're good on their own, it's just nice for me because I've always been into training to just change it up a bit. So I'll put that in, and then I'm sure I'll have some closing thoughts later on. Now the issue I have with today is that too much volume to do on a daily basis to improve your diabetic or metabolic health? And there are no real guidelines. A lot of consultations and guidelines out there always say strength train 3 times a week, do your zone 2 to 150 minutes minimum, but there's no real how can you optimize that further. So for someone like me who's got moldy glucokinase, there's no real evidence out there to do certain pharmacological or non-pharmacological treatments. So that's what I'm trying to do over the next 3 to 6 months, is try and improve the amount of physical activity that I am doing and keep other factors as similar as I possibly can. Sleep is probably another one that I'm going to try and improve. I say this on every video, but I need to improve that. But in terms of food, diet is pretty much the same. I'm not traveling anywhere for the next 3 months as of yet, so that should be there. Jobs and other business things, I'm going to try and keep the stress levels also the same, which is easier said than done. But if I just try and change the exercise and see whether that does improve my outcomes, then obviously that's something I'm going to do, and try and kick down the need for pharmacological treatment as far down the road as I can. But I obviously can't be naive, because the longer I leave my blood sugar at higher levels, again, I don't know what it really responds to, because I just try and overlook it. I obviously look after patients who've got different types of diabetes, but I need to probably focus on mine a bit more. And that's what I'm starting to do, is try and do as much zone 2. And that's the only benefit, is that it is a low impact. So it does allow me to train, strength and other high intensity activities later on in the evening. But if you've got this far, thanks a lot for watching. Any comments, put them below, and I will see you in the next one.